Okay. Happy New Year. Welcome back, everybody. This is a reminder to the commissioners. When you want to speak, remember to unmute your microphone and then state your name when you're speaking. And we will be using the touch screens for voting today. Okay, and if you're not familiar, ask your neighbor. They'll show you how. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call to order the January 17th Senior Citizen Commission meeting at 2:00 p.m. And we've done roll call.
Let the record show all commissioners are present.
Very good. Commissioner Farley, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, before I forget, we have a new Senior Citizen Commissioner, Mr. Peter Tobias. Commissioner Tobias, would you like to say a few words about yourself?
Turn this, there we go. I thought I did that, but apparently not. So my name is Peter Tobias. I'm 78 years old, so I have a legitimate interest in the Senior Citizen Commission. I've lived in Encinitas since 1980. My profession is I'm a biochemist, a research biochemist, although I retired from that about 8 years ago. My hobbies are woodworking, gardening, orchid growing, and so forth. My interest in being on the commission is that, I'm a potential client of the city's senior services, and I'm just interested in making them more functional. Having the city provide as many services as possible to a broad diversity of seniors. I'm certainly here in a learning mode at present, and I look forward to becoming familiar with what we do. If there are any questions, of course, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, Commissioner. Welcome aboard. You'll find that this is a very lively group, and we're all happy to help you out as you get indoctrinated into the commission. Okay, next item 4B, we do have a substitution. Dr. Yorman could not be here today, so instead we have Dr. John Malone, who is an infectious disease physician with the County of San Diego. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Welcome to be here. I just thought I would go through some of the high points really quick, and then I'll show Dr. Yorman's slides. And I want to share that I will be 70 on Saturday, so we are close in age, and that also I'm very proud to have served for 30 years in the Navy. I finished up here in San Diego as commanding officer of the hospital ship Mercy, and also held major leadership positions at the hospital here. So we are all close together, and I've been chasing COVID for the public health department for the last, really be 3 years in March, so time goes fast pretty quick. So number one big take-home message is that individuals, and in particular I will tell you certainly our senior citizens, but also their family members, need to get the COVID bivalent vaccine. It's a new vaccine that's out. That is the most important thing an individual can do. And while they're getting that vaccine, they should also get their high-dose flu shot. Okay, our flu certainly peaked here recently, and it's just kind of coming down a little bit, but I will tell you that flu season is not over, that we are always concerned about an extra peak coming in a little later on, and so it's never too late to get a flu shot. The other take-home message is that if you're a senior citizen and you are sick, and in terms of sick with these new variant COVID that are circulating here, many times people get more of a runny nose or a sore throat. It's more up here versus early on in COVID when people had those heavy, hacky coughs and high fevers. if you have any types of URI symptoms, you should do your rapid COVID test. And that if that's negative the first time, you should repeat that COVID test in 24 to 48 hours. If that COVID test is positive, then you should really start your Paxlovid oral therapy. Most people can take that Paxlovid over that. You have to talk with your provider, or also Dr. Yorman has a great slide in terms of, you can call up and get it a little bit, going through different medicines that you might be on. In particular, a lot of people, are on these kind of statin medicines for cholesterol. You can stop that statin medicine, take your Paxlovid, finish up your Paxlovid after a couple days, and then restart your cholesterol medicine and do fine. Another thing is that there are a small group of people, in particular, especially those on anticoagulants, that maybe they have AFib over that. That gets a little more difficult with the Paxlovid, but that there's another medicine called IV remdesivir. It's a little difficult to get, but that I would make the case for individuals and certainly family members of our senior citizens that that's an IV treatment once a day for 3 days. And that is very, very effective. It has about an 88% efficacy. Now, in terms of prevention, I think one of the things that I always consider is that if you're going to have family gatherings, and we encourage people to have family gatherings over that, but there's different very important preventive measures that can be taken. Number one, if family members test with the rapid antigen test before they would come over, and 24 hours before, that's very helpful. Realize that about 60% of individuals are asymptomatic and infected with this COVID. So just because you're not sick doesn't mean, you don't have it. Another thing is that for these family events, if it's ever possible, kind of do it outdoors or in fresh air. Fresh air is good air over that. I think that's well-ventilated areas is very helpful. Masking of individuals, very effective for both the senior citizen and the family members, depending on what the risk is of the individual. But that is very, very effective, and we probably should be doing more. I appreciate all the different perceptions over masking. Another thing I'd like to mention is that, and you can write it down, and if you're interested, I can send you a little slide on it, but they're called Corsi-Rosenthal filters, Corsi-Rosenthal, Rosenthal. And long story short, these are something that you can make, do it yourself at home. You get yourself a $25 box fan, over that. And then, you can get 5 MERV 13 filters from Amazon for $55 and a roll of duct tape. And you just tape together your different filters, put the fan on top, so that the fan sucks the air through the ventilation things. That does, I will tell you just real quick math-wise, that'll move 500 feet a minute of air times 60 minutes is 30,000. And if you figure what the size of your room is, if it's a 10 by 10 room over that, by 10 room, long story short, you can get 30 air exchanges an hour with one of these things. So that something to think about, very helpful. Like again, if you're going to have the family gathering, or the other thing is that I will tell you, I made one for Dr. Yorman this weekend a little bit. If there's the young child at home and maybe they're in the back bedroom, you have that in there, or even have it so that it's pushing the air out, sucking the air through the filters and then out the back window. Very, very helpful, because then you get like a negative airflow going through. So this virus is transmitted through the air. Anything we can do to minimize that air is very, very helpful. And then along the final thing is that I have MERV 13 filters in my house. I would recommend for senior citizens that most of the time you can take a look a little bit at your ventilation system, how old or how new that is, but most of the time in our houses that'll be very helpful. And then finally, I'd like to make the point that long COVID affects probably 20% of the individuals. We did a little survey here, and that's what it looks like it's going on. And that, has a whole string of different issues evaluated with it. People have mental fog, fatigue, and that's a hurt for all of us. So I think that's probably one of the underlying things. And with that, how about if I show a couple of slides, and we'll go from there. Can I have the first slide? So again, here's some healthcare facts. These are from Dr. Yorman, and that for you to consider contacting your healthcare plan. Next slide. Again, my point, get your flu vaccine now. Thank you very much. And when you're getting your flu vaccine now, please remember to certainly get your COVID bivalent booster. Next slide. And here's the COVID-19 vaccine now. Thank you. And this is some information, again, making the point, and this was very well made most recently in that how effective in preventing both hospitalizations and death of the bivalent COVID vaccine is in our seniors. So can't make a bigger pitch for that. And my turn is the California Department of Public Health, where you can get the bivalent vaccine. I'll also tell you that any of the, as people are Medicare, Medicaid eligible, that any of the local pharmacies hand this out. I got my COVID bivalent vaccine at a local pharmacy and did wonderful. Next slide. Here's one of the things that we are looking at is we watch especially our senior citizens in our nursing homes, and that we're running about 50% vaccination rates, both in the staff and amongst the residents in our nursing homes, and that we certainly would like to see that much better, over that. And we're working with different organizations to try and increase that. Next slide. Again, boosters are very helpful and make a big difference in terms of both mortality and hospitalization. Next slide. Again, we're making the point about the bivalent boosters. Thank you very much, Dr. Yorman, for hammering this home. Next slide. And here's the comments that I made about ventilation and masking, that the HEPA air filters, MERV 13s, and that also my mention on the Corsi-Rosenthal filters. Next slide. Face masks, very, very effective in terms of preventing well-fitting masks in particular, preventing infection. I have to say that I found the KN95 masks, they're not as thick and heavy as the HEPA filter ones, but they're also more effective than the usual blue, and that I found those very comfortable and certainly a good option for people. And again, masking is very effective for COVID prevention. Next slide. One of the things that I would also recommend, and that is that I really look very hard at our wastewater. And this is on the website, search websites, and in particular for you up here in North County, you have the North County sewage treatment facility here, and that is even separate from Point Loma and South Bay. And you can look at that and watch that, and you can see what type of variants you have going in, and also is your viral load for COVID going up or going down. We run it for COVID, we run it for flu, and also it's being run for respiratory syncytial virus. And that's very helpful. There was just a recent article out this weekend, and that seems like the wastewater is about 7 days ahead of actually what happens. And that was a very good study that was done actually in Louisville, Kentucky, in the Jefferson County area. So done very well. And again, my comments about the Paxlovid, certainly very helpful, and remdesivir also mentioned. Next slide. I think this is one of the most important slides, and people should have. Stick it on your refrigerator so that if you're sick and you have a positive COVID test, certainly I would say the first place to start is with your provider. But that sometimes that might be a problem, and we're looking to get this medicine to you as soon as possible. Certainly within the next, within the first couple days of you becoming symptomatic. The earlier treatment, the better. And here's some other contacts that to get you the medicine. You know, you can do it on the phone, and things have worked out very well for that. Next slide. Prevention, testing, treatment, I think I've gone through those. Next slide. And we're done. So, you know, hopefully we were brief and to the point, and we're done, but I am open to any questions and not in any hurry to go anyplace. Commissioners.
Commissioner Farley here. I just wanted to know the remdesivir, is that the monoclonal antibody?
No,
No.
that is different. Remdesivir is really a drug that hits against the viral replication. We're no longer doing monoclonal antibodies in the county because of the new variants are resistant to it. So good question. Thank you for asking that.
And, excuse me, Commissioner Angel, thank you so much for this in-depth briefing. I do have a question regarding cost. What I heard you say is that the cost is still being picked up for the boosters from healthcare insurance companies, and I had heard something counter to that, so I appreciate you clarifying that.
Yeah, yes, and I think that also one of the other slides from Dr. Yorman, I think she was trying to make that point. You know, but that you know, this is this vaccine should be a free vaccine over that, and again, I have to tell you, over 65, you know, you're on the phone to your local pharmacy, and you know, come on in and get your shot. Thank you very much. Here's your paperwork, and have a nice day. So that works really well.
Is that true for all individuals other than seniors? Because at one point during this pandemic, the NIH and other governmental agencies assured citizens that they would not have to pay for either the initial vaccines or boosters, and I'm wondering if you could speak to that.
That is still true over that you know, there's no cost to get these vaccines, and that I think that also, you know, if someone's going to make that point in your health care plan, I think it's then time to, you know, say, hey, this is for free, and if you still get some hassles, to bring that up to higher authorities.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is Commissioner Ling, and I wanted to say, first of all, thank you, and I think you raised, you did passes a lot of information even before the slides started. I've built a couple of Corsi Rosenthal boxes. It's really easy to do.
Yeah.
So if any of the commissioners or staff are interested, I can pass along. There's YouTube videos, there's instructions. It takes about 15 minutes to build one.
You're faster than I am.
But a lot of duct tape.
Yes, that's right. That's right. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun, and they work really very well. I also have to tell you that, you know, usually on the 3-speed fans, low, medium, high, the low speed, you know, it's not really very noisy, you know, over that. And I mean, you can have that on at night, and it shouldn't keep you up.
Medium or high gets a little loud.
Yeah, a little loud, but the low speed is good enough. You know, that's 500 you know, feet a minute. So thank you very much for that.
Commissioners, any other questions, comments? Thank you again, Dr. Malone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving along, we are at item 5 on our agenda, oral communications. Looks like we have a few people.
We do. We have 3. The first speaker will be Joan Wapner, followed by Deanna Minuzzi, and lastly is Christy Kramer-Levander. And just as a reminder, you have 3 minutes to speak to the commission.
Okay, hi, I'm Joan Wapner. I've been a resident of Encinitas for about 22 years, and I am a regular attendee of the senior dances at the senior center. I'm there almost every Wednesday for the Rotary Dance that Sharon and Marty Cooper put on, and it is really a wonderful event, and it's very well attended. And one of the things I want to add after what we just heard was that Marty and Sharon make sure everybody's been vaccinated. who attends that Wednesday event. And it seems a little silly maybe to bring this up, but the sound system in that room, which is actually 2 rooms, the divider between the 2 rooms where the dancing takes place is taken down so that the carpeted area is a very nice seating area, and then there's the wooden floor for the dancing. And the sound system, in my understanding, has been set up so that there are 2 controls. There's a control for the seating area and a separate control for the dancing area. But somehow, the staff that's there at the time doesn't understand the workings of it, and certainly I don't. I have known nothing about it. I just know that the sound on the dance floor is plenty loud, and it's equally as loud in the sitting area. And people sometimes don't dance. Sometimes they sit there and they want to chat. It's a very social event. And I don't know that it's real complicated to set it up so that the sound in the sitting area can be lower than the sound in the dancing area. Marty Cooper has told me it can be done, but he's not allowed to do it. So my request is that somebody look into that and get that fixed, because it's a wonderful event, and I thank you so much for putting it on.
Thank you for letting us know about this. Okay, our next speaker.
Deanna, go ahead.
Good afternoon, commissioners and City of Encinitas and members of the public. My name is Diana Minuzzi. I am the Librarian 2 Adult Services Specialist from Encinitas Library. And I am here to talk briefly about 2 programs. One is tax preparation assistance. We are in the tax season, and AARP are here once again to help us. So they will be starting their appointments on Thursday, February 2nd in the library. And actually, they will be also working in the community center, the senior center of Encinitas, on Mondays and Fridays. So as for the library, you can make your appointments for any Thursday between February 2nd and April 14th, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So there is, I brought some flyers. There is an email where you can communicate and make an appointment, and also a phone number. And it will tell you when you can, options to make the appointment, and what material you have to take to the appointment. They take care of everything. They are wonderful. And so you leave your appointment, everything is done. You have to submit 2 checks, and then all you have to do is wait to be refunded. So that's for tax assistance. The other program, which is intergenerational, it's for all ages, is chess. So the community had been asking for a chess program for a long time, and we could finally put it together. So the first one was in December. It was so successful. We had over 25 participants of all ages that we decided to bring it twice a month. So chess now runs the 2nd and the 4th Friday of every month, 2:30 to 4:30. In the Encinitas Library lobby, and you don't have to bring your chessboard, so all materials are provided. You don't have to bring your partner. I'm sure you will find one there pretty soon. And all skill levels are welcome, all ages are welcome, all chess sets are provided. So it's fun, and we'll be waiting for you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Deanna.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm Christy Kramer-Levander, and I'm here to tell you about a free senior living seminar series that I am putting on monthly. We saw a need for educating seniors in different types of topics. And so in January, we had our first seminar. They're over at the Encinitas Community Senior Center. And the first topic was downsizing made easy. I was anticipating 20 or 30 people. We had over 60 sign up. Not all attended. A lot of them called and let us know they wouldn't be making it. So we had close to 50 people in the room. The next topic's going to be about Proposition 19. In March, it's called Cut the Clutter. April, beware of the scams that seniors get. And May 11th, the truth about living to be 100, and June 8th, legal, tax, and financial issues. So each month, we're going to offer this for free. We do not promote ourselves or allow anybody that's on a panel that comes there to push their business. It's strictly free, educational for seniors. And we have a website that they can sign up at. It's www.sdmaturemoves.com. And I brought some postcards that have the dates and the topics. Christy, can I leave them with you if any of the commissioners would like to pick one up? And so we're planning on continuing this, and if you know of anybody that you think it might be beneficial to, I hope you will pass it on. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Okay, thank you, speakers, for being here. We are at item 6 on our agenda, changes to the agenda. Besides the change in our speaker today, are there any other changes?
There are no other changes.
Okay, thank you. Item 7, approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve, it's been 2 months since we've had a meeting, to approve the November 15th, 2022 meeting minutes?
This is Commissioner Angel, and I make the motion to approve the November 15, 2022 minutes.
Okay, Commissioner Angel makes the motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
This is Commissioner Hanwit, and I second the motion.
Okay, Commissioner Hanwit seconds the motion to approve the minutes. Can we do a vote?
Let the record show the motion passes with 5 yeses and 1 abstention.
Thank you. Next agenda item, or action items? Pardon? Agenda item 8, Senior Citizen Commission Annual Work Plan. Normally here, we report our work plan goals, progress, and outcomes since our last meeting. I wanted to mention, before we get into that we are coming up on the time to plan our 2023 work plan, and that needs to be developed and finalized in the next couple of months. So it's just a reminder to everyone, we can do this as part of the regular meeting. In fact, at the end of this meeting, I'll suggest that we add that to our agenda, but it's probably also more productive if some of the ad hoc groups get together independently and discuss their respective agenda items. Okay, report work plan goals, progress and outcomes since our last meeting. Item 1, attend city-sponsored and city-partnered local community events serving as city ambassadors. Some updates?
This is Commissioner Martin. I just want to say that 3 of us attended the December 3rd parade, and it was a gas. Sorry, I had to do that. And I have some pictures in a photo book, and I really, really appreciated all the help from my co-people in the commission. Thank you.
Commissioner Copeland, just wanted to report I was part of the 40th Annual Holiday Baskets. Rounding success, we're able to serve over 900 individuals, including seniors and some unhoused citizens. And again, I want to just extend the privilege I have to be part of that. So thank you.
This is Commissioner Angel. I also volunteered to help put the holiday baskets together for the seniors.
This is Commissioner Martin. I also did a holiday basket event for seniors, but it was with the CRC and had some support from other commissioners. And I think they were able to reach their goal of almost 300 bags that went out, and the ones going to Encinitas residents also included some information from our city facilities and a really nice handmade card by some Girl Scout group. Yeah, so thank you to all that were involved with that.
And this is Commissioner Ling. I participated in the holiday gift basket assembly for the senior center, and I also was at the holiday parade this year. That was, as Commissioner Martin says, it was a gas. It was a lot of fun. And it seems like there were a lot of people out there this year. So very, very fun event. Okay, moving on to item 2. Identify guest speakers for monthly meetings to provide education regarding topics that are of interest to seniors.
This is Commissioner Hanwood. I think at one of our meetings in the last couple of months, we mentioned having somebody come from Agewell, San Diego. So I don't know whether that's in the works.
This is Manager Good, so I can definitely reach out to Agewell. I think at the last meeting, we were going to prioritize the speakers, but I know for next month, it was going to be the homeless solutions manager that was going to speak, but we can double up and I can invite someone from Agewell as well.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Tobias. I'm not, so this is just a question to the chair and the board. I would be interested in having a speaker about the demographics of Encinitas as far as seniors go, how many, where we are, sort of what proportion of seniors are likely to need services, that sort of thing. I'm not sure that's within our purview, but it was something I'd be interested in. So if there's any support for that, maybe we could.
This is Commissioner Ling. I actually think the 2 speakers we've just mentioned, at least one of them could address City of Encinitas demographics, both Agewell and the homeless assistance.
Maybe we could feed them that point of interest.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anyone else? So I had an interesting encounter at the senior center recently, and I wanted to I wanted to see if we could address this, and it had to do with seniors seeking contractors to do work on their homes. It was, in this context, it was about a fence, but I also see similar situations where you're aging in place and you want to make modifications to your home. And it has to do with the city permit requirements. Is it possible to have someone from city planning to talk about permit requirements for modifications aging in place?
This is Manager Gutzel. We can definitely reach out to them and see if there's someone available to speak.
Okay, the specific
What
issue.
month would you like that?
I think that can be a lower priority than I do want to hear from Age Well and the homeless planning folks first. But the specific context is, what I'm hearing is that contractors are not wanting to go through the permit process. And I would like to follow up on that and see if there's any assistance that can be provided to seniors who are wanting to make these kind of modifications. Okay. Thank you.
This is Manager Staten. Just for clarification, when you say, is there any assistance to seniors looking to make these modifications, like from the city side, or, because the contractor usually handles the permitting, I believe?
Yes, and that's my understanding as well. But some of these lower bid projects, they're not wanting to do the permitting.
So your question is if the senior goes direct to the city to receive the permit, or, I just want to make sure that we ask the correct question
Yes.
to get the correct answer.
Yes, if they end up going directly to city planning to apply for a permit or to understand what the permit process is.
All right, thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Hanwett, and I just wanted to add, just for information, I'm on the Age Well Housing Team, which I can talk about when we get to that on the work plan. But one of the action steps that we have on this team is to compile an inventory of available home modification and rehab providers and references to share with the public. So it'll take a while before that happens, but there are other people that are concerned about that too, getting contractors that would be able to fulfill the needs of somebody that wanted to age in place.
Commissioner Martin, I like that addition, and what I was thinking is we spend a lot of time talking about the accessory units, and we've made it very easy for people to develop those across our city. And I think everybody here might be also saying something that I was thinking is, can't we make it easier to have really set vendors, set supplies, set discounts, set supports for a population that we really do want to help here? So using that same model, can we put together something like that for seniors?
Commissioner Farley, to Commissioner Ling's point, my water heater broke over the holidays. That was a lot of fun, but I do concur with the fact that, there was a lot of permitting that we had to get in order to get a new water heater, and I was thinking actually of a senior citizen trying to go through that process, because the contractor that we used, he's a single-man show. He doesn't have time to go to each city and work on permitting and things like that. So my husband and I were the ones that were, but I think the point is that I think it's really hard for a senior to navigate through those sort of things. And if there was something that we could do to try to help mitigate that, I think that's what Commissioner Ling was referring to.
This is Commissioner Angel. If I might just add, thinking about the whole ADU, accessory dwelling unit, and as was mentioned by Commissioner Martin, the city of Encinitas really has streamlined the process and made it almost like a one-stop shop with regard to ADUs. And I also agree and think perhaps we could look into either aligning with the particular department in the city, or advocating on behalf of seniors, because I also have heard sometimes horror stories of senior citizens within our own city trying to navigate through either the permitting process or just not knowing how the system works. And I too wonder what we might be able to do to streamline this whole process.
Thank you, everyone. Sounds like I hit a sore spot. All right, let's move on to item 3. Engage as organizers and volunteers with local community service organizations and the Community and Seniors Center. Any updates? So I'm still doing what I've been doing. I've been volunteering as a tutor at the computer lab one morning a week, and I've also been serving with the senior nutrition at the senior lunch on Thursdays. But my understanding is we could always use more volunteers. We are currently, I think, the last senior center in North County to go from the little trays to plated service. And one of the things that's holding us back is we need more people to help with having plated service in the dining, as opposed to handing out the pre-packaged trays. So I'd like to encourage everyone to see if there's an opportunity for you to volunteer, hour and a half, 1 day a week.
This is Commissioner Martin. I also reached out to the CRC contact on the senior gift bags, holiday gift bags, and just said, please let me know if there's any other programs during the year that we can get involved in on a small group, community group basis. And she said she would let me.
This is Commissioner Angel. I've coordinated with the Cardiff 101 director and have signed up to volunteer for 2 events in 2023 with Cardiff.
This Commissioner Hanwood, I guess this is not a bad time to mention the North County Community Food Project that I started a couple of years ago, because we reached our 2-year anniversary. It started in High Country Villas, so it was all seniors, and we've done exceedingly well. We pick up food once every 2 months, and we have about 20 people that act as block coordinators and about 170 residents that are food donors, and they've been very consistent in delivering whatever the nonprofit is asking for. It includes the CRC and a couple of other places that we work with, and I'm always ready to expand. So if you know of any other, it can be over 55 places. I think it's a perfect fit for a senior community. Makes the seniors feel good, makes the people feel good that receive the food.
Thank you. Let's move on to item 4. Continue partnership with the Encinitas Rotary Club and explore other Encinitas Service Club partnerships to recognize or promote the Senior Citizen of the Year and Lifetime Achievement Awards. Any updates today?
Commissioner Koblenz, I think we're about ready to giving some thought to that. I might bring up that we do have a senior expo with the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce that is going to be a perfect opportunity to start seeding some of that. And obviously the city is very involved. So I have been looking. I've got a couple ideas. I'll be ready.
This is Manager Goodsell. We do have an approved revised nomination form that the ad hoc committee worked on and the commission approved. And so the time frame that was approved for this one is February 1st, 2023 through March 16th, 2023. I know last year we extended the deadline in order to receive more nominations. So that would always be an option, but, you know, that's the form we currently have.
So it sounds like it's getting to be about time to make some announcements about this.
Correct.
Okay, so and I understand that the Senior Expo, is that at the Community Center at the end of this month? 25th?
It is being held at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center.
Okay,
I don't have the date in front of me.
okay.
February 25th. I'm pretty sure.
Is it February or?
This is manager state, and I believe you're correct, but I too do not have the date in front of us. However, we can
Yep,
get back to you.
I see February 25th as well. I just looked online. Great. So there are probably a few things that we can get out ahead of time before then. Okay, thank you. All right, item 5. Enhance senior programs, including intergenerational programming, in collaboration with the Encinitas Youth Commission and other service organizations, computer assistance, Feeling Fit Club, and baby boomer offerings. Any updates?
This is Commissioner Angel. I would once again like to reach out to the individual at the county level who runs the Feeling Fit Club or oversees that, and I've been working this one particular project since being on this commission, and I would like to have an update as far as trained individuals in the county and hopefully be able to move this process along.
Okay.
This is Manager Goodsell. Regarding the grant funding, we did receive grant funding for the Vial of Lives, and we received 1,000 of them. Some of them have already been distributed to the senior nutrition participants, and I know that Commissioner Hanwitt is interested in distributing some. Some of the ideas that we had is to go to the senior living communities here in Encinitas, like High Country Villas, Park Encinitas, which is a mobile home park on El Camino Real, Meals on Wheels, Yana, the Encinitas Terrace Senior Apartments, Cantabria Senior Homes, the Riviera Mobile Home Park, the Mobile Home Park on Coast Highway 101, and then the Green Valley Mobile Home Park. So that's something for the ad hoc to consider and think about. I do have 200 of them here now, so you can go ahead and take them and start your distribution.
I have an update on intergenerational activities. We've been meeting with the youth commissioners in their ad hoc group. We've agreed on 3 specific activities. The first one, which is coming up hopefully mid-March, will be a senior tech help day. It'll be at the community and senior center, and basically we'll have teenagers from the high schools standing by to assist seniors in their various device and computer questions and hopefully resolve some of their issues. And that'll be probably a 10 to 2 event on a Saturday. So we think it's going to be March 11th. We have to pin those dates down. The second event will be a intergenerational game day. Now, we don't have specifics on that yet. The thought it could be board games, card games, virtual interactive games. That would also be at the Community and Senior Center. And the idea is that you would have youth and senior teams playing against other teams, something like that. So we're still kind of in the formative stages for that. The third one, which I think is the most ambitious, is a spring food drive. And we like the idea of doing it in the spring because that tends to be sort of the off-season for these kind of things. The intent is to work with schools and city offices to generate donations, contributions for a food drive. We don't, this group is relatively inexperienced at this, so we're hoping we can ask Commissioner Hanwitt to provide us with some professional guidance. We have not started meeting on this topic yet, but I get the feeling this is something we need to start laying the groundwork down sooner rather than later. So I'll keep you posted. But it seems to be off to a good start. We got interrupted by the winter break and this holiday weekend, but hopefully we'll kick things off again and get things going on our first activity. Okay, we are at item 6 on our work plan. Establish a relationship with the county by actively participating in Age Well San Diego 2.0 conversations, virtually and in person, as it relates to senior wellness. Any updates?
This is Commissioner Hanwett, and as I mentioned before, I'm on the Age Well housing team, and we met in January, on January 5th, and we have a goal that's been developed, which is develop housing supports for safe and independent aging in place. And then there are 3 strategies that we came up with. This really, I've been on this for about a year, and we're actually coming up with action plan. So it's kind of exciting to see it move ahead. But I'll just tell you quickly what the 3 strategies are. One of them I already mentioned is to compile an inventory of available home modification providers. Another one is to create opportunities to educate the public about age-friendly housing topics such as fall prevention, disaster preparedness, tenets of universal design, which is my favorite, and age-friendly home modifications. And then the last is to continue working with the county housing department to support programs that provide safe and affordable housing. These are very interesting, and as I've mentioned before, if you go on the Age Well San Diego website, this is only one of several groups that meet, and they meet, I believe it's like every other month that we meet. I don't think it's every month. It's a virtual meeting. You don't have to go anywhere. You can choose an area that's of interest to you, and they have somebody leading the meeting. They have breakout groups. It's very well organized and really informative people that are part of the process. So I think I've learned a lot from it, and it's been a good opportunity for me to be part of this. It's something that's important to me.
Thank you. We're at item 7. Work collaboratively with city staff and senior citizen commission ad hoc committees to determine programs requiring grant funding. Any updates? We've talked a little bit about
Right.
Isle of
Well,
Life.
the only update would be the grant that we very easily acquired to get the Vial of Life. And I think the ad hoc committee will get together and figure out, besides the list that Christy provided, how we want to distribute them and what kind of information we want to give people when we do distribute them, because I think that will be an important part of this, not just to drop them off in somebody's office and hope that they reach the right place. And yeah, we need to look for other opportunities that need money. There's money out there.
So the one thing, just to put it out there right now, I don't know what it's going to be like. I imagine for the intergenerational activities, the 2 one-day events, I think we can do that with volunteers and whatever is available. I'm wondering if the food drive may require some funding. So I don't know the answer to that yet. But
Well, this is Commissioner Hanwood. We can discuss that further. I have sponsors for my project that probably would not mind it being, part of a bigger project, because the sponsors give me the printed materials and the bags, and they have a logo on there. So the more people they reach, the happier they are. So I don't know that we're going to need extra money, but we can certainly talk about that.
thank you.
Commissioner Koblenz, I'm wondering with regard to the grant writing, it seems part of our opportunity with our seniors is transportation. And there used to be a program called Out and About, which I understand is no longer applicable. So I've been working on the idea of possibly getting some type of grant funding for picking up seniors, not only for the lunch program, which is covered, but for some of the other activities. In my mind, it seems that we have a couple extra school buses that aren't being used, and maybe we could get with this school bus drivers. Just a thought. So maybe that could be part of the grant writing too, so that our seniors have more mobility. So just a thought.
This is Manager Goodsell. Just in response to that, On the Go through Jewish Family Services is contracted to serve in our area, so it covers all 5 communities of Encinitas, and that is just a small fee of $20, from what I understand, to sign up. If somebody has a financial hardship, they don't have to pay that. They can apply for a scholarship for that portion, and then from there on, it's free or donation only. And volunteers pick up seniors in this area and take them where they need to go for medical appointments and whatever their needs are for transportation. So I think we have that one covered.
So for clarification, we have that and we have information on that.
We do. It's called On the Go,
Okay,
and
thank
it's a
you.
program run by Jewish Family Services.
And I think there is, I haven't checked lately, but I think there's a link to Jewish Family Services, the transportation on our website.
And we have some literature at the senior center that you can pick up as well.
Okay, next action item. Sorry.
Commissioner Farley, do we know how many people utilize the program?
I don't have the stats on that, just because the city of Encinitas doesn't run it, but Jewish Family Services does. So we could invite them to come out as a guest speaker in the future.
That's a great idea.
All right, action item, work plan item 8. Visit senior centers in San Diego County for knowledge and to make recommendations to staff on programs such as the lunch program enhancements and services that would be of value to Encinitas seniors.
Commissioner Koblenz, I think we're doing very well. We're getting more information, more education. I was at the lunch program the other day, and Chairperson Ling was there, and I'm guessing we're about, 27 to 30 people now?
We had 40 at I think the one that you dropped in on.
So I think it's working. I think we have a wonderful opportunity to bring more services and make more people happy. So I'm very pleased with how it's going. Have a couple ideas when we rewrite new work plan that I'd like to propose. So
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things we really need to focus on for this next term is to improve our outreach and promotion of the senior center. Okay, that brings us to work plan item 9, research best practices as it relates to senior issues and send letters of support as needed to city council and commissions. So just thinking ahead, this concern about permits, that may turn into a letter of encouragement at minimum. So, but it'd be good to hear from city planning, understand what's going on. Okay, I think that wraps it up for our work plan. Again, a reminder that we will begin our discussion and planning for the 2023 work plan pretty soon. Okay, that brings us to agenda item 9, Recreation Center Manager Goodsell. Do you have an operations report for us?
I sure do. 395 meals were provided at the senior nutrition program in November and 443 in December. We had 161 rides offered in November and 183 in December for the senior nutrition program. And special nutrition events around the corner include the nutrition education titled Nutrition and Cognitive Function that is going to take place on the 19th of this month. And then on the 20th, we have the Classic Hollywood theme party. We have some themed nutrition days in February that you can mark your calendar for. The birthday Sundays on February 3rd, the Valentine's Day theme party on the 14th, and bingo on the 21st. And there were a total of 992 non-nutrition participants registered for programs in November and 1,052 registered in December. The San Diego Senior Community Foundation and Whole Life Home Care granted $2,000 to the Encinitas Senior Center for the holiday gift baskets. The baskets went to registered senior nutrition participants and contained a variety of food items, a plant, a handmade card from the Encinitas Girl Scout troop, so we thank them very much, and also it included the Vial of Life. And in addition, the San Diego Food Bank granted the Encinitas Senior Center 35 $50 gift cards to Vaughn's and Albertsons, and the gift cards were raffled off to the lunch participants the week of December 26th. The New Year's Eve dance was a huge success. We had a lot of the guests call and write letters thanking us so much for the dance. It was sold out with 120 tickets purchased. There was a live band, full catered meal, a balloon drop, and a toast to 2023. And I'd like to give a shout out to Clinton Calkins and Jacqueline Little Parhar, who coordinated the event. They did an excellent job. The staff are currently working on the spring recreation guide covering April, May, and June, and it will also cover the summer camps. And the final thing I wanted to mention is just to be prepared to appoint a commissioner to serve on the community grant program evaluation panel at the February meeting. And the evaluation panel meeting will be via Teams on Tuesday, March 14th from 3:30 to 6:30. So whoever is appointed and willing to volunteer to serve on that panel needs to be available that day. Again, it's March 14th. It's a Tuesday from 3:30 to 6:30. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Recreation Services Manager Staton, you have department updates?
Thank you so much. That was a very thorough briefing by Manager Goodsell, so I actually don't have too much to add. I just want to chime in that a new arts supervisor started on January 9th. We're delighted to have her joining the team. That does leave a vacancy for recreation, which we're hoping to fill once the budget cycle goes through. And then in addition to working on the spring guide with summer camps included, want to mention that registration for spring activities and summer camps will be on March 6th at 8 a.m. And just to swing back to the grant panel that Manager Goodsell was talking about, I don't know if any of you were on the panel last year, but it's a great opportunity. Okay, well, maybe Commissioner Hamwitt, you'd like to speak about your experience and let your other commissioners know kind of what that's about?
Well, it's a very interesting, although time-consuming experience, because the city of Encinitas gets 50 or 60 applications for from nonprofits in Encinitas for a very wide variety of projects, and they give up to $5,000. At least that's what they did last year. And if you're on this committee, you have like a little checklist of things that you're looking for, and you're scoring each grant. So you really have to read each grant and think about whether or not they're providing the information that they're required to provide. And then when we meet as a group, it's a representative from each commission. We share our scores and then figure out who's going to get the money. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It's a really great opportunity to help decide where those dollars are allocated and what you'd like to see here in the city of Encinitas. So I would encourage you to throw your hat in the ring. And again, we'll need to select someone for that panel during our next meeting. It will be agendized. So if you'd like to sit on it, please come prepared. And that concludes updates. Thank you.
Thank you. We're at agenda item 10. Commissioner member initiated agenda items, and I'm assuming there are none. Moving on to agenda item 11, future agenda items added by commission members. Now, these items can be added as long as there are 2 or more commissioners in consensus. So I would like to start by suggesting that we have a portion of the meeting next month, set aside to start reviewing the 2023 work plan.
This is Commissioner Angel. I concur with that.
Okay. I think that's all we need to add that to the agenda. Any other agenda items that we want to add for next month? No?
I do believe they just talked about the one.
Right.
That we need to talk about as far as
Right,
somebody
for the grant review.
presenting for both meetings in the grant work, as well as all the, sounds like, behind-the-scenes review of the data, which, but
Okay, so that'll be added to the agenda as well. Anything else? Okay, now we are at agenda item 12, commission reports. This is the roundtable. I would like to ask all the commissioners if they have any additional announcements or reports to make.
Commissioner Koblenz, I'd like to invite all of us to sign up for the We Count of those experiencing homelessness on the 26th of this month. It's a Thursday at 4 a.m. You can go on the website under We All Count, sign up individually. You can choose wherever you really want to go. I'm putting my efforts through CRC because it's my basic home, but you can go anywhere. So I think it's really important, and I think it blends in a lot with us seeing that as seniors, we all know the stats, the homelessness in seniors is rising dramatically. So it gives us an idea to really walk the streets and then be the advocate for what we experience. So that's the only thing I have.
This is Commissioner Haywen. Can I ask you about that? Because I read about it, and I wondered, do you get a certain area that you have to go to? I mean, how does that work?
You actually do show up and you have a team, and there's a driver, a walker, and a recorder, and you have a map and a schematic, and everything, of course, now is done online, and you walk the streets, and depending upon where you are, some of them are in parking lots, some are in streets. The city is pretty clear as to where these people need to be counted right now. There is a small training when you sign up, so you're not just walking into it. It's a very humbling experience, and doing it really allows one to find that place in their heart where we all know it's a crisis, and maybe we can do something, and maybe it's just participate in that count.
Any other announcements or reports? Okay. I would like to say that the January 17th, 2023 Senior Citizen Commission meeting is hereby adjourned at 3:07 p.m. Thank you, everyone.